Mayoral Memo with Matthew Dickinson from Dubbo Regional Council.
The Dubbo Region Mayor Matthew Dickinson has come under fire for posting some artificial intelligence-generated images and a comment on social media comparing the Dubbo sale yards to outdated technologies. President of the Dubbo Stock and Station Agents, Martin Timmins, says the images have caused outrage ahead of Council's June 27 meeting, where the future of the facility will be discussed.
It's time to take the whole process a lot more seriously than what he has in recent times. As we draw closer to the 27th of June, important decisions have to be made. This is no small issue. It's very, very serious, and it's gone up with that post almost like a joke.
We're saying a very good morning now to the Dubbo Region Mayor Matthew Dickinson, and got to talk about the elephant in the room. Matt, good morning to you. Do you think the images and the comment would have caused this much outrage, and are you taking that decision-making process and the issue seriously?
Morning, Brett. How are you going today? Good to be chatting. So AI is an interesting concept. I've been using AI images on my social media posts, Brett, for a long time. Last year I started using that. The bottom line is that I don't have a media team. All the media I do, when I prepare for things with you, when I put my social media posts up, everything I do, that's me. My only media team is me. Now, I've only got so many hours in a day, and AI is a convenient tool to use to draw attention to various things on social media. Now, the great part about this, Brett, is it's achieved exactly what I want to achieve. People see it, they take notice of it, and that was attached, that particular one there referenced was attached to my weekly mayoral memo. The important thing, Brett, is the written word. So it drew attention to that. Lots of people read that article. Fantastic. AI achieved exactly what I wanted it to achieve in drawing attention to that. Now, again, we've got a media team at council, but their job is to take care of the corporate communications of council, not to help individual councillors. And that's a very important distinction.
Was your intent meant to be flippant?
The intent of using AI, Brett, is just convenience. Time, that's the big issue for me. I don't have time to go out and drive all the way out to the sale yards to take a photo to then say, okay, there's my photo that I'll use on that social media post. Social media is about communicating conveniently with the community. Again, I would post my mayoral memo, my weekly column each week on social media, and I need an image to put with that. Using a stock image, which I've done in the past sometimes, using an image that's out there on the internet, I can do that sometimes, but AI is a convenient tool, and again, it grabs people's attention. It looks a bit different. It's stylized imagery, which is fantastic. It stands out on social media, so people grab that and say, what's this image about here? Let's go and have a look at that. They read the article. So it's achieved exactly what I wanted to achieve, and here we are now, Brett, talking about it on radio, even better. More people will go to my social media and have a look at the article that I wrote, which was a very serious article about the losses being incurred by the sale yards at the moment. So it means average mum and dad ratepayers in Dubbo, people listening to your radio station, are subsidising the operation of the sale yards, and that's what we've got to stop, and that's a serious matter.
And I should point out that using images from online, even though they're there apart from the stock images that you pay for, have copyright behind them. So you can't just really pull one of those. Can you, though, Mr Mayor, understand why people have gotten upset with such a post, though, with such an important matter like this on the decision table for council? And shouldn't you have kept your personal thoughts to yourself until council formalised that decision?
Well, Brett, the thing is that every council decision we make is serious. Now, when Marty talks there about this is a serious issue for the sale yards, that's serious for him because it affects him personally. But I would argue that every single decision we make is serious. It affects people. We as councillors are impacting people's lives every day with the decisions we make. I would argue that every decision and every councillor making every decision treats every matter very seriously. I don't think we're flippant about any decision, and I'm certainly not flippant from my perspective. So using AI, if that's what people think makes it a flippant process, well, that's a bit disappointing. And anytime you do something new, Brett, it challenges people's ideas. Using AI scares people. But if we're a modern progressive council, if I'm a modern progressive councillor, I'm using the latest tools at my disposal to get my message out there. I'm using a phone now, Brett, because I'm sitting in Cobar. That's a mobile phone I'm using. That's new technology at some stage. Should I have not used mobile phones 20 years ago because they're all a bit new? Again, everything that's new is a bit scary. In 10, 20 years' time, AI images, no problems at all. But at the moment, it's a bit new and scary for people.
Matt, the fallout from this, though, some people are saying to me that you've made your mind up about privatising the Dubbo sale yards and that your post was actually intentional. Is that what you're not saying that to me, are you?
Oh, absolutely not. And I've said it very clearly, and many times when people have said that, is that it's actually a breach of our Code of Conduct policy. There are 3 separate sections that we could potentially breach as councillors if we made a decision before we walked into the room for an actual decision where we make that. So that's a really important thing. No decision, no councillor has made any decision on this. We've had workshops. I've listened to councillors sitting around the table discussing various ways we can go about things, what we can do about different things. I know no councillor said, no, that's it, I've made my mind up. And they're smart enough to know that if they did that, immediately that would be a breach of the Code of Conduct policy. So absolutely no decision. No decision has been made, Brett. We've still got 3 very clear options in terms of what we could do. Have a modified status quo, keeping it internal, or lease it out to an operator. We've received those EOIs now. We've seen what they look like. Or sell it to someone. And again, we've seen the EOIs there. So we've got options there, but no decision has been made. The decision will be made on the 27th of June at a council meeting, and the time that will happen will be when councillors put their hand up for whichever way they're voting. And that's the moment. That is the only moment, Brett, where councillors will actually make a decision.
All right, well, I'll hold you to that, and of course all the council laws. Now, the Dubbo City Edible Shelter is one step closer with the first sod turn ahead of construction. My understanding that this is a larger facility than the existing one. Can you expand that on that a little bit for me? How much money is going into this?
Yes, so certainly it's larger than the last one, and I made a major contribution the other day, Brett. I went out there and I turned a sod, put a shovel in the ground, and they said if I just do that another 8,000 times, then it might be of some assistance. So that was out there. Now, at the moment, we've got about 2,216 dogs and cats that come through our animal shelter each year. This our existing facility, is over capacity. That's the biggest issue we've got there. The new facility will feature 101 dog pens, 40 cats, and that's obviously to try and help us continue that flow of cats and dogs. What I would stress to the community, Brett, is please make sure your dogs and cats are chipped. There's still an incredible number of people or dogs and cats that we pick up, that our rangers pick up, that aren't microchipped, so finding those owners is much harder. And we've got a process that we go through. If an animal that we pick up is not chipped, after 7 days at our animal shelter, it then becomes the property of council, and then it's a tough job for us to work out what to do. We try and rehome them, we try and find a home, but unfortunately there are times we end up putting down cats and dogs because we can't find a home. If they're chipped, it obviously makes it easier for us to contact the owner, but also there's an extension. We get 14 days before they become the property of council. One of the issues we do find, even when dogs and cats are chipped, Brett, is that we contact the owner, but unfortunately they've moved, they've got a new address, they've forgotten to update their details that were initially put on when they initially had their animal chipped. So the people that do chip their animals, fantastic, thank you for doing that, but make sure you keep those details up to date as well.
All right, we update through council admin. Is that what we do?
I have no idea, Brett. I'm not sure where you update
No,
you.
that's all right. Did you actually tell me how much money is being spent on the facility? Sorry, I missed that.
$7 million we're spending on that facility. Yeah, so $7 million. So it's a major spend. David Payne Constructions won that tender, so good to see a local company, although David Payne's obviously owned by Mars now, so it's a major company there. And we expect this to be completed by April next year.
All right. Can you tell me why 101 was the amount of dog pens? I mean, why not 108? It sounds like someone's mismeasured somewhere and just chucked another one in.
Maybe we're figuring on getting some Dalmatians. We want 101 Dalmatians to go in there. I think it was just a configuration that ended up being 101 there.
Maybe you're right. Maybe that's the exact reason. There's going to be office space for the staff there too, which is good to see. Let's move to some other important news from the meeting last night held by Council in relation to the Keswick estate. You've got some important changes to report to me this morning.
Yeah, absolutely right. Now, keep in mind, this was the committee meetings last night. No final resolution comes from those committee meetings. These are recommendations to council. But typically, if you see things happen and it goes through unanimously, then typically in 2 weeks' time, you'll see the council meeting go the same way. But I need to stress, these aren't final resolutions. The process here was with Keswick Estate. As you may remember, we had lots come on the market there. We went to auction. We didn't sell them all at auction. And the market's been a bit slow to pick up those lots there. And again, that's probably the overall market. Interest rate rises, cost of living pressures. People still want to be here. People still want to be in Dubbo. But unfortunately, we just haven't sold those as quickly as we'd like. So we need to make some changes there. And I think some significant changes we're proposing. One of them is a 12-month settlement on those particular lots there. So that would mean a builder can come along. They can buy a lot. They can say, I'll take that lot there. They can build a house on it and then sell that house, and essentially their cash flow is protected. So we think that'll stimulate some activity in the building environment, because we want more houses built, obviously, without pushing the cash flow. So I think that'll help some of those builders when they get to the point of then selling, or in 12 months' time, they'll then have to pay for that before they take possession of that actual lot, title, if you like, take possession of that title. So I think that's a good move. And we've done that before. I remember in old Dubbo City Council days, we used to have, we'd call it builders' terms. We'd have something where we'd say, you've got the ability to take that and not pay for it for 12 months. The second move is that we had a limit on maximum of 2 lots owned by any one organisation, any one builder, any one corporate entity. We've lifted that, or proposing to lift that, to 5 lots by being owned by any builder or any entity at one particular time. So that means we can lift that. We've had approaches from organisations in the past that want to take more than 2, so I think that's a good move. And the last one is, it's had an open agency agreement where any agent that put forward their name could sell blocks there. We had 9 agencies that were working on that. And councillors said that, well, maybe part of the problem there is that lots of agencies have got there, but there's no focus. So we're proposing to change. We'll go through a public process to appoint just 1 agency rather than 9 agencies. And that 1 agency will have that exclusive ability to sell blocks there. So we think those things combined will stimulate some more activity in Keswick, because we want to see more people living in Dubbo. We want to see more houses on the ground.
All right, when you say lifting the limit from 2 to 5, what sorts of organisations have purchased 2 in the past? Who do you mean?
I won't say names. I don't want to give brand names out, but there are companies that do build houses. So builders typically, not individuals, so building companies. The problem in the past has been the limit has been 2. So if I'm a builder and I buy 2 blocks and I then put 2 houses on there and sell them, that's it. The resolution that we had previously said you can't buy any more. The limit lifted to 5 has got 2 things. One, it's 5, but secondly, it's 5 owned at any one particular point in time. So if I'm a builder and I buy 5, put houses on them, sell them, then I can buy more. And again, we were trying to make sure that no one builder locked down all of the blocks there. And I think by doing this, it'll mean that we'll stimulate some more activity in the housing market without having any one builder be able to lock down all of that. So we think that's a good move.
All right, Dubbo Region Mayor Matthew Dickinson, thank you. Enjoy Cobar, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brett.
Mero Memo with Matthew Dickinson from Dubbo Regional Council.